So here's something weird. You've been alive for years, maybe decades, but you have absolutely no memory of your first two. Like, you were basically a tiny drunk person who couldn't walk, talk, or control your bowels. And somehow your brain went, yeah, let's not save any of that. Today, we're casually explaining why you can't remember being a baby, and why your brain might have been doing you a huge favor. Chapter 1. The Great Memory Wipe. Scientists call it infantile amnesia, which sounds like a metal band, but it's really just a fancy way of saying, you existed, you just didn't back up the files. Basically, your brain during those early years is like a new phone that hasn't finished setting up yet. You're taking photos, but there's no SD card, so everything just disappears into the void. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory-saving center, is still under construction. Imagine your brain workers are busy installing wiring and furniture, and you keep walking in saying, hey, remember my first word? And they're like, bro, we're still painting the walls. So yes, your brain technically experienced things, but it didn't yet know how to record them in a way future you could access. Chapter 2. The Language Problem. Another big reason you can't remember is because you didn't have words yet. Memory is tied to language. You think in words, you recall in words, but baby you were just a blob of emotions and drool. Try to remember a time before you could describe things. Like, before you knew what blue or mom meant. You literally can't think the memory, because your brain didn't yet have the vocabulary to store it. So early experiences, like the first time you saw your mom's face or fell off a couch, existed more as feelings than memories. That's why babies might cry when a stranger holds them. Even if they can't consciously recall who that is, their body remembers, but their mind doesn't. Chapter 3. Memory formatting error even after the hippocampus starts working. It doesn't mean it's saving in a format you'll always use. Imagine trying to open a 1998 Word document on your 2025 laptop. Your system just goes, file type not supported. That's basically what happens to baby memories. When your brain grows, it restructures itself, pruning neurons, forming new connections, and basically deleting old baby brain code. So even if you did store memories as a baby, your adult brain may literally not be able to read them anymore. It's like your mental operating system got an update and went, sorry, these memories are from an older version of you. Chapter 4. The Emotional Backup. Drive. Here's the twist. Just because you can't remember being a baby doesn't mean those experiences didn't shape you. Your early environment leaves fingerprints all over your emotional system. How people treated you, how safe you felt, whether someone picked you up when you cried. All of that trained your nervous system before you even knew what a nervous system was. So while you can't remember your mom comforting you at 2 a.m., your brain learned the world is safe, people care, or if not, don't trust anyone, especially people who say it's just a quick nap. Basically, your subconscious remembers what your conscious mind forgot. Chapter 5. When do we start remembering? Most people's first clear memories appear around age 3 or 4, when language, self-awareness, and hippocampus function finally sync up. That's when your brain says, okay, we're live, and starts writing actual files to long-term storage. That's why your earliest memories often feel like movie snapshots, a trip, a smell, a random toy, rather than continuous stories. Your brain was still testing out its new Save Memory 1.0, featured Chapter 6, False Memories and Reconstruction now. Here's where it gets even messier. Sometimes the memories we think we have from early childhood are completely fake. Maybe you've remembered blowing out your first birthday candles, but that memory actually came from watching the video 100 times. Your brain is less like a camera, and more like a courtroom sketch artist with a caffeine addiction. It fills in blanks based on photos, stories, and expectations until it feels real, even if it's not. So no, you probably don't remember being in the womb. That's just your imagination doing a collab with TikTok pseudoscience. Chapter 7. Babies are basically amnesiac scientists. The irony is, while babies can't remember, they learn faster than ever during that period. Your brain was absorbing sounds, faces, languages, like a sponge with no off button. You learn to walk, recognize faces, and figure out gravity by repeatedly throwing stuff off the table. That's raw experimentation. You were basically a tiny scientist running chaos-based physics tests. So even if your memory drive was off, your learning drive was maxed out. Chapter 8. Memory, Identity, and Self. What's even weirder, memory is what gives you your sense of self. Without memory, you wouldn't know who you are. So in those early years, you didn't really have a you yet. That's why babies stare at mirrors like, who's this idiot? They don't recognize that the reflection is them until around 18 months old. In a way, you became yourself the moment your brain could remember itself. So the version of you that exists today, your habits, fears, confidence, started forming before you even knew what you meant. Chapter 9. Philosophical Baby Crisis. If you can't remember being a baby, and the person you were back then didn't have the same memories, thoughts, or self-awareness, then who were you? Were you even you yet? Or are we all just upgraded versions of a completely different baby who's long gone? Deep down, maybe growing up is just a slow process of forgetting who you used to be and remembering who you want to become. So, the reason you can't remember being a baby isn't because your life didn't start. It's because your story hadn't started. Recording. Your brain was too busy wiring itself to experience the world, not to save it. And honestly, that's probably a blessing. Because if you could remember every diaper change, you'd never sleep again. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe before I forget why I started making it.